Okay, so I want to say I'm pausing the whole amusement park stuff until after Father's Day, cause I'm buying scripts for other series. So yeah. Anyway, um, gender neutral language in Polish. Okay. So there's Onu slash Jenu, Ono slash Eno, Vono slash Vago, Ne slash Nego, Onks slash Jex, Ani slash Jeggy, Ani slash Itch, Ono slash Jeno, and One slash J. I probably said the last one wrong. And I'm not gonna go through this. So, next is Portuguese. Okay. A slash O estudiante. El estudiante. E estudiante. Okay. Pronouns dela slash S. Nella. Well, you know. Okay. Spanish will be easy. Even though I did fail Spanish. So people say that that there is no they in Spanish, but there is, well, they them. They them is LA slash LAs. I have no idea why people assume that there's no they them in Spanish. Ciclista, cyclist, el dentista, dentist of any gender, but a female dentist can be la dentista. El estudiante, student of any gender, but a female student can be la estudiante. La persona, person. Turista, tourist. Okay, Swedish. There's hen, which is subject form, and hens, which is possessive form. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, and now I'm reading two stuff from Ranker. Okay, so can't believe that today a gynecologist told me that a hysterectomy wouldn't be considered as an option for my debilitating period pain on the off chance that I divorce my wife. My sexual orientation changes. I meet a man and decide I want children. Straight people will try so hard to erase anything gay. You can have two boys rolling around in the grass and they gotta explain it like two men inspecting the grass closely, details unknown. When people think we're just business partners who happen to live together and share a surname. You are gay? Hell yeah. Yes or no? Yes, I am gay. I am a lesbian. Why? All lesbians are ugly, but you are cute. Girls become lesbians just because no man like them. My dude, a cis man would F a rock if he could. Y'all are pathetic. Lesbians are lesbians because they don't like men. Applaud to OP for saying that. What did she do in her childhood that was lesbian? I haven't even read this book yet, but I'm gonna go all out on a whim and say she was attracted to other females. J. Edgar Hoover, gay or just a man who has sex with men? Uh, I'm pretty sure that's what gay means. Excuse me. LGBT representation among comic book characters has exploded in recent years, but in 2021 it went supernova both on the page and the screen. Gay people don't even watch superhero movies, that's the kicker. I'm skipping some cause it's a lot. Jonathan Kent, the new Superman with his friend Jay. Jonathan started out as Superboy, then succeeded his father. I don't think just friends kiss each other on the lips. Tis nice, ain't it, for gals to find true friendship with each other. My girlfriend and I just got gal-palled by Animal Crossing. They think we're friends, but we're a gay couple. Well, that's nice, Duolingo. Uh, Duolingo, sorry. Okay, and now, periods in history when LGBT people were celebrated and embraced. I know, it says people, people W. The Isle of Lesbos, 600 BCE. Lesbos is a small island in the Aegean Sea whose residents are indeed called lesbians, and is known as the home of Sappho, the lyric poet who wrote a number of passionate odes to female relationships. While the vast majority of Sappho's work has been lost to history, her one complete surviving poem is Ode to Aphrodite, also known as Hymn to Aphrodite, a prayer to the goddess of love from an unnamed speaker who desperately seeks the affections of a young woman. While there has been much debate about whether Sappho herself was actually attracted to women, may have deemed her an international symbol for LGBTQ plus individuals, and that's why we have terms like sapphic. Ancient Greece, 500 to 400 BCE. The most documentation and debate revolves around the practice of pederasty. In modern connotations, that word refers to sexual relations between a grown man and an underage boy. The Greeks attached no such moral judgments to the word and used it instead as a descriptor of the widespread legal and socially sanctioned practice of mentorship. That is, mentorship that involved the mentor taking liberties with the mentee, which the mentee may or may not have consented to. Adult consensual intercourse between two male partners, on the other hand, was frowned upon. Plato once wrote of homosexual relations that it was utterly unholy and the ugliest of things. Instrumental in the victory for Greece was a group of soldiers known as the Sacred Band of Thebes, a legion of soldiers composed entirely of men that were partnered with each other. The legend is their deep love for their fellow soldiers led them to fight tenaciously and unselfishly, fiercely protecting their mates in battle. Tribal Africa, pre-colonization. Many present-day African nations have strict anti-homosexuality laws in place, but contrary to assertions by the former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, homosexuality is not anti-African and far from it. Before Christian ideas of morality were introduced to tribal African cultures in the late 1800s, there was little to no stigma attached to homosexuality. Most tribes had unique words for different LGBTQ plus individuals and practices, and many tribes shared the belief homosexuality was just something adolescents engaged in as natural part of the development process. Pharaonic Egypt. 330 BCE to 30 CE. The ancient Egyptians were anything but uptight about same-gender and queer relationships. In a society that was known for their sacred concubines, condoning interfamilial relationships, and believing in afterlife intercourse, homosexuality was seen as nothing out of the ordinary. The Egyptians didn't view sexuality in binary terms, and male-to-male relationships were accepted under a number of circumstances. Indigenous Americans pre-colonization. The term Two-Spirit was introduced by Indigenous Americans in 1990 as an umbrella term used to describe a long-existing caste of individuals who do not fit within traditional gender binaries. Many native tribes have recognized gender as fluid and have held specialized and even sacred roles in their cultures for two-spirit people, such as potters, matchmakers, storytellers, or oral historians. Cherry Grove / The Pines, 1950 to present. New York's Fire Island has been a quiet place for queer people to get loud since New York artists, actors, designers, and bohemians of all types started taking the ferry there in the early 40s. By the 1950s, Eli Manhattanites had taken over the small enclave of houses, and vacationers include luminaries like Greta Garbo, W. H. Auden, and Xavier Cugat. And an increasing quantity of LGBTQ plus New Yorkers that wanted somewhere they could go to be themselves. When former male model John B. White bought a hotel in the Pines in 1959 and began openly courting gay clientele, Fire Island's reputation as a queer paradise became the stuff of legend. Mykonos, 1990s. As complicated as classical Greek and Roman views on homosexuality were, LGBTQ plus people and their historical counterparts inhabited a different social and cultural terrain before the coming of Christianity. Greece became a strict Eastern Orthodox Christian nation, and male homosexual activity was criminalized until fairly recently, historically speaking. In 1951, same-gender relations were decriminalized, and with that ruling, queer tourists started to return to the historically significant locations the country has to offer, like the seaside town of Mykonos. While Mykonos is still considered an attractive destination for LGBTQ plus tourism, it is no longer the raging party mecca that it is said to have been in the 1990s. New fad destinations pulled the culture away some time in the 2000s, but Mykonos has remained a queer-friendly oasis on the coast of Orthodox Greece. Spain, 2010s. Spain is constantly rated as one of the top destinations for queer travelers and was named as a model nation in the latest Rainbow Europe report, an index of the human rights grant to LGBTQ plus people across Europe. It's possible that Spain in the 2010s might be the best place and time to be queer in all of human history so far. Okay, that's it. Bye, guys.